Cancer-related financial toxicity is a national crisis hiding in plain sight. When a family member is diagnosed with cancer, they have so much more to deal with than just the cancer. Income stops because a parent or a loved one has to stop working, but the bills don't stop. You have out-of-pocket medical costs, you have transportation to get to the hospital, you have costs at the hospital. So very quickly, families fall into trouble. But nobody's talking about it. There's so much shame attached to talking about your finances, especially when cancer's involved, because the problem and the focus is on cancer. But the reality is, cancer-related financial toxicity is affecting family members' ability to access care and adhere to treatment. Families battling cancer need more than a cure. They need help with all of the day-to-day issues that are happening outside of the hospital. And we need to wipe out the shame so that families understand that there's more to cancer than just the medical piece. There's a financial piece, and you have to ask for help because help is there. We see you. We see this every day. The numbers are staggering. Up to 73% of adults with cancer will experience some form of cancer-related financial toxicity. And in pediatric cases, it's 1 in 3 families. So you're not alone, you're actually the majority. There are resources here for you, and we want you to ask for help, because we're here to help you.
When Ella was diagnosed with cancer, she was 5 years old. She was in kindergarten or just finishing her kindergarten year. It impacted my family tremendously for a number of different reasons, but financially it was very, very hard. I had to stop working immediately. Ella was in the hospital for 2 to 3 months to start, and then in and out of the hospital for 3 years with undergoing chemotherapy. So it was a really long road, and during that entire time I was unable to work. I was a single parent with 2 children, so not being able to work for 3 years was a huge financial impact. It still is to this day. Even though it's very difficult financially to get through such a long period of time without being able to work and having to stay home and take care of your child who is going through this treatment, one thing I definitely learned was that you should never be afraid to ask for help. And so many people offer to help, and you should never feel ashamed or afraid to accept that help.
We know that cancer can be a really lonely place to be. And in addition to battling cancer, there's often this other silent battle of your finances that's going on. So we're here to tell you that there are resources available to you, and there are people who understand and who are standing by to help you navigate the twists and turns of the financial devastation that cancer can cause. So you're not alone. There's help out there, and please don't wait till it's too late. Ask early, raise your hand, ask questions, tell people you're concerned about the cost, you're concerned about your finances at home, because there are resources. And if you're not comfortable asking, pick a friend that you trust that could ask on your behalf. There's no need for you to struggle financially when there are people standing by to help you figure out how you're going to get to the other side of cancer.
When your loved one is diagnosed with cancer, it's important to know that there are additional costs associated with that. There could be direct medical expenses, that could be prescriptions, co-pays, premiums, daily living expenses, could be your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, and then your out-of-pocket expenses could be just travel back and forth to the hospital, gasoline, parking, and food while you're spending time at the hospital. So it's important to know that there are direct costs associated with the cancer diagnosis and how that will impact your budget.
When our 12-year-old daughter was diagnosed with cancer, it was like a tsunami, not only physically and emotionally, but also financially. We would have done anything for her to get better. Now that we're coming up on a year of her being in remission, we are so grateful for that. But we are struggling every single day to figure out how we're going to make ends meet financially. A cancer diagnosis is financially toxic to a family. Can't be ashamed to ask for help upon the initial diagnosis. Asking for help financially when you're diagnosed with cancer can help you in the long run. We don't have treatments anymore for Kaylee, and we're so grateful for that. But we continue to try to figure out every day how we're going to make it work financially for our family. It's important to get help from the initial diagnosis so that you can start healing your pocketbook as well.
Upon diagnosis, it's important to set up a budget. It's important to do this early on. So please go to the Family Reach website where you can learn helpful tips on how to do that. The next thing you want to do is you want to contact your creditors. Call your mortgage company, see if there's a way to modify your loan, set up payment plans. The next thing you want to do is you want to talk to your social worker, see if there are financial resources available to you. But above all, it's important to take care of yourself.
When a family is diagnosed with cancer and they're in the hospital, they're given a medical care team that is solely focused on the disease and doing whatever it takes to get you to the other side of cancer. But they also need a financial care team. We say that we need to bridge the gap between hospital and home, because hospital is where you're treated and home is where you heal. So this financial care team is really an important part of the treatment. We see that financial barriers have an effect on patients' ability to access care and to adhere to life-saving treatments. Can you talk about when you want families to reach out and how it makes your job easier to say, here, let me plug you into these resources so that we can avoid your care being interrupted?
No, it's so important for families to identify the need for help as soon as possible. They're reeling with a diagnosis. It can be so emotionally devastating, but it's so important to ask for help early on. That's the key. Identify somebody on your team, on your medical team. You have your medical oncologist, you have your social worker, you have a financial navigator. There could be others on the medical team, but it's so important to know that there is somebody out there that can help you. If it's not in the hospital, maybe it's a friend. I think it's just so important to know that there is help out there and to not be afraid to ask. Your loved one matters, your family matters, and it's so important to just ask. Just ask.
Right. We believe that everybody deserves a fair shot at getting to the other side of cancer. There are resources in place to help you. We just need you to have the courage to speak up and let somebody know that you're struggling. You matter, your whole family matters, and we're here to help.